All right, here is my story with Alpha Gal. I used to be a avid hiker, loved to hike. I lived in Missouri and I lived on a mountain, and there were 300 acres behind my house of just wild, untouched, beautiful nature. And there were amazing fossils back there. There were creeks that had never been touched, and I used to go back there and collect all kinds of incredible fossils. I have some really, really neat ones. I mean, this place just had not ever been built on, not touched by man. It was beautiful. And the kids next door and I would grab lunch and we'd go out hiking for hours back there, and we'd hunt fossils and we'd stop and eat lunch, and I'd bring my dogs, and it was a blast. And we'd go back home and, be tired and rest, and sometimes we'd find ticks on us. And I'd always try to jump in the shower, change my clothes, whatever. It was normal to find ticks on us, and we got to the point where it's not like we were okay with it, but we expected it. We'd get home and we'd just clean up then and get the ticks off. So, I developed severe gastrointestinal problems. And when I say severe, I don't want to gross anybody out, but literally I had diarrhea for probably 6 to 8 months, almost a year. Nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. And it was pretty horrible because I had to drive to work, and I had an hour and a half drive to work. Not good when you have a lot of diarrhea. So it was really, really bad. I also had extreme pains in my stomach, especially on the left side. I'd bring a heating pad to work. I'd just hug my heating pad. I was in so much pain, and I couldn't figure out what the heck was wrong with me. This went on for a long time, like I said. I tried eliminating a ton of things from my diet. During that time, one of the things I eliminated was meat, and I had stopped eating meat. I will say, and I forgot this when the allergist asked me, I did have a few instances, and it's really weird. I would wake up in the middle of the night, I'd feel shaky, hot, I'd throw up, I'd have diarrhea, I'd be laying on my floor in the bathroom. I felt terrible, and I was really, really just tremory and shaky, and I just felt terrible. But I didn't know why, and I remember just telling my husband and other people, sometimes I just get this weird sickness. I just get sick in the middle of the night. I don't know why. And when the allergist asked me, do you get sick in the middle of the night? I couldn't even remember it, because it doesn't happen a lot. It's probably happened maybe a half a dozen times in the last 4 years. So it's not happening a lot, maybe once every 8 months or so. Anyway, and I just figured, whatever, I ate some that didn't agree with me. I don't know, got a virus. It's not that unusual to get sick every now and then. Long story short, went to gastroenterologist, blah, blah, blah. Ended up at SLU in Missouri, St. Louis, and they suspected gluten. Ended up quitting gluten, and my pain in my side got so much better, and I felt so much better. I wasn't so fogged out. It was probably 2 years later that I finally was tested for Alpha Gal, and I came back positive. And it explained a lot. I remember trying to go to work. This is the worst. My boss would get so mad at me because I looked like the cat drugged me, and I looked like hell. I mean, I was in so much pain every day. For some reason, she took that personally and thought I was mad at her all the time. And I was trying to hide it. That's the worst part. I mean, it was beyond me. There was no hiding it. So one day I had to do a presentation on our databases, and I did this presentation to the board, and the day before, literally, I had gone for a colonoscopy, and I must have had an alpha-gal reaction to the anesthesia. I totally, my blood pressure just tanked. It went down to 72 over like 38 or something, and they were all freaking out. I wouldn't wake up from the anesthesia, and they had me like tilted up like this in the bed, you know, trying to get the blood back down to my head. And the guy, the poor orderly that took me out, he's like, when are you coming back for this? And he's like, counting, okay, I won't be here, thank God. He like never wanted to see me again. Anyway, I had this horrible reaction to the anesthesia. Basically almost died. My heart rate went real down too. And but I had this presentation I had to do for the board the next day, so I came into work. I felt horrible. My boss was so mad at me. She brought me in her office and gave me the what for about not practicing for my presentation. And really, I had this alpha-gal anaphylactic shock the day before and didn't even realize that's what it was. And I was just such a trooper trying to keep going. Anyway, alpha-gal is not something to mess around with. It will mess you up, and you can't eat any mammal products. Thank goodness that I kind of stopped eating mammal products, but they are in so much. It's sneaky. So now I can't eat any gluten or mammal products. I basically just eat vegetables and a few meats, some fish. But even then you have to be careful because they put stuff, they inject fish and chicken sometimes with gluten or meat products. That's the like flavorings and stuff that they put it you know, you'll see 10% or whatever percent added, you know, this or that in the chicken on the labels. You have to be so careful. Anyway, alpha-gal explained a lot for me. For me, it was mostly gastrointestinal, a lot of headaches. When I ate cheese, I always got a headache. So I do react to cheese a little bit. Not everybody can't eat cheese. Some people can eat cheese and milk. I seem to be reacting more and more to that. So I'm going to try cutting out dairy too. What will I eat? Cardboard? I don't know. Restaurants around at this point. So that's a lovely life with tick-borne illnesses. My dog has ehrlichiosis too. So, and she was always on tick medicine, but she still got it. So, you know, just be careful. If you go out in the woods, don't be blasé the way I was. You know, I was just like, we'll get ticks on us. We'll go home, we'll wash them off. Big deal. We loved exploring, and it was a blast. But I do wish I'd put on some tick spray. Okay, well, take care, people. The days of eating are over. Bye.